Alright, today we're going over the review worksheet for Algebra 1 Review Flipbook. And well, not just the flipbook, but everything from Algebra 1. I think it's important to know a lot of these hints. These are where the hints you're going to have on your hint page. So, you really need to know the difference between simplifying and solving. Remember, simplifying has no equal sign. Solving your question will have an equal sign. Solving means you're going to get a number answer. Simplifying means you're going to have an expression. When you're simplifying, you have to use the distributive property. Remember, I call that piece of delivery guy. FOIL is like distributive property twice. You'll have to know how to use exponent properties. You'll have to know how to solve using abundance backwards. We'll talk about radical properties, and then taking the perfect squares out of the radical. We'll talk about using conjugates. Remember, the top and bottom have to be the same. And we'll talk about factoring using the GPS. So I'll go back to all this stuff. That's pretty much the main concepts that we're going to cover. Alright, so number 1, we have 3 times the quantity x plus 4 minus 6 plus 2x in parentheses. Remember, you distribute the 3. So you know what 3x plus 12? You also have to distribute the negative sign. So you're going to have minus 6 minus 2x. Now you're going to combine like terms. So I'm going to put x's with x's. So 3x minus 2x, I'm going to get just x. And then I'm going to do 12 minus 6 to get plus 6. That's it for number 1. 2, very similar concept, almost the exact same problem. 2 in parentheses, x plus 3, and then minus parentheses 5 plus 3x. So same exact concept, the 2 is pizza delivery guy, so I'm going to have 2 times x to get 2x, 2 times 3 to get 6. Minus is a pizza delivery guy. Minus 5 minus 3x. Now I'm going to combine my terms. 2x minus 3x is going to be minus 1x. I cancel them out so I don't accidentally use them again. Then I add the 6 and the negative 5 to get 1. So that's my best answer for that. Alright, number 3. Since there's a plus sign in between the parentheses, remember you are not multiplying, you're just combining like terms. So what I'm going to do, and then we put x squared with x squared. So I have 3x squared negative plus negative 5x squared, and we get minus 8x squared. Cross them off so I don't end up using them again. Now I do x's, so I have 8x and 2x together, that's 10x. Cross them off. Minus 19 plus 13 is going to be minus 6. So there's my answer right there. Negative 8x squared plus 10x minus 6. 4, exact same concept. I'm going to have 5x plus 4x squared minus 25 plus so plus 4x minus 16 plus 5x squared. 4x minus 16 plus 5x squared. So the x squareds, you go with the x squareds. Remember, the plus sign just means the parentheses disappear, so I have with 9x squared here. Then I have 4x and 5x to give me 9x. I have minus 25, minus 16 would be minus 41. So remember, that is your answer because it is a simplified problem and it's not a solved problem. Now 5 is very similar, except there's a minus in between. So I have 8x minus 3x squared minus 19 in parentheses minus 2x plus 13 minus 5x squared. So the negative sign is going to distribute. So the first set of parentheses does not change, so it just stays 8x minus 3x squared minus 19 minus 2x minus 13 plus 5x squared. Most common mistake I see is a lot of people think that the negative sign in front of the parentheses makes everything negative. It does not. It changes all the sides in that parentheses. So I have minus 3x squared plus 5x squared. I'm going to get 2x squared. I have 8x minus 2x to get plus 6x. 19 minus 13 is 6. So that's it for 5. 6, very similar concept. I'm going to have 5x plus 4x squared minus 25 with a minus in between the parentheses. It's going to be 4x minus 16 plus 5x squared. So the minus sign is going to distribute to all three things in the right set of parentheses. This becomes minus 4x plus 16 minus 5x squared. The first set of parentheses doesn't change because there's nothing in front of it, so it's 5x plus 4x squared minus 25. I combine my like terms. 4x squared minus 5x squared is minus 1x squared. You don't need the minus 1 there, you can just put minus x squared if you want. 5x minus 4x is just minus 1x, or you can just put minus x. And we have minus 25 plus 16 is going to be minus 9. And that's it for number 6. So number 7, we're going to use FOIL. So you're going to have basically, the first thing is 5k. It's going to go to 7k. So you can think of that as FOIL, or think of it as pizza delivery guy. So 5k times 7k is 35k squared. 5k goes over to negative 8. So that's going to become minus 40k. 3 goes to 7k. At your inside, it's going to become plus 21k. And 3 goes to negative 8, it's going to become your last two, that's minus 24. I'm going to combine my like terms in the middle. So I end up with those two terms going in the middle. So I have 35k squared minus 19k minus 24. That's it for 7. 8 is the exact same concept. So 8, I have 6k minus 3 in parentheses, 3k plus 2 in parentheses. So now I FOIL. So 6k goes to 3k, gives me 18k squared. 6k goes to 2, gives me plus 12k. Negative 3 goes to 3, that's going to be give me minus 9k. Negative 3 goes to 2, it's going to be minus 6. So my best answer is going to be 8k squared. So I have 18k squared plus 3k minus 6. That's it. 9, exact same concept. I have 3x minus 4, 3x plus 4. I do the first two, I get 9x squared. I do the outside two, I get plus 12x. I do the inside two, I get minus 12x. The last two are going to give me minus 16. Those middle terms cancel. I'm left with 9x squared minus 16. That's it for that. So number 10, I have to FOIL. So remember, you're going to do the first two. So 5x goes to 5x. That's going to give me 25x squared. Then we'll do the outside two. So 5x goes to negative 3. It's going to give me minus 15x. Then we'll do the inside two. 3 goes to 5x. It's going to give me 15x. And then the last two. 3 goes to negative 3. It's going to give me plus 9. So I combine like terms, so my best answer is going to be 25x squared plus 9. 11, very similar. So 11, I have 4x minus 1 squared minus 4 times the quantity, 5x plus 2. So the negative 4 is going to distribute. So that's going to become minus 20x minus 8. Now I can't do anything with this right here. So I have to write, I cannot distribute the 2, so I have to write it as 2 sets of parentheses. 4x minus 1, 4x minus 1. I FOIL that. I end up with 16x squared minus 8x plus 1. And then minus 20x minus 8. So I have 16x squared because that's the only x squared. Minus 8x minus 20x is minus 28x. 1 minus 8 is negative 7. That's it for that one. So 12, the exact same concept. So remember, the first thing you're going to do in number 12 is you're going to distribute the negative 2. So you have minus 12x minus 18. And the first set of parentheses, you have to write it as 2 separate sets of parentheses. And then you're going to FOIL it. So remember, you're going to FOIL it, so you're going to do the first 2 to get 9x squared. You do the outside 2 to get minus 6x. You do the inside 2 to get minus 6x. You do the last 2 to get plus 4. Then the minus 12x and the minus 18 just drop down. Now we're going to put together all of our like terms. So there's only one x squared term, so I write it. I have minus 6x minus another 6x. Minus 12x, it's minus 24x. 4 negative 18 is minus 14. So that's it for 12. Alright, for so number 13, you're going to be using these concepts. Remember, I kind of look through the progression where I always look for these two to start. Then I look for those two next. Then I look for negative exponents last. So 13, we have in parentheses, negative 3a squared b cubed all to the 6th power minus 25 a to the 12th b to the 18th. Now, so because I don't have anything next to each other, any lists of the same base next to each other, I can't add exponents. I don't see any fractions, so I can't subtract exponents. So the only way I can do is I can distribute this little 6 to all 3 parts. So it is like the distributive property, but it's not because they're exponents. So it's negative 3, and remember when you put in your calculator, you want to make sure you have parentheses. Negative 3 to the 6. You multiply the 2 and the 6 to get a to the 12th. The 3 and 6 you get b to the 18th. Now the reason we get negative 3 to the 6 is because there's really a little 1 exponent there. So it's not negative 3 times 6. So I do negative 3 to the 6, I get negative 3 to the 6 is going to turn into 729. A to the 12th, b to the 18th. Now the negative 25, the minus 25, a to the 12th, b to the 18th, that drops down. And since these are exactly the same, since my bases match, I get to do 725, 729 minus 25. And remember, when you subtract them, it's like terms. So my best answer is actually going to be 704, a to the 12th, b to the 18th. And that's it for 13. Alright, so 14, we have 10w times 2w squared all over 24w to the 8th. Remember, because the top, I have w's next to w's, I can actually put these two together. These exponents, there's a little 1 there in case you didn't know that. So the top is actually going to turn into 20w cubed. Now the bottom's going to say 24w to the 8th. So I did the adding bases together because they were next to each other with the matching base. Now, I'm going to just kind of look at this part right here, 20 over 24. I can rewrite 20 over 24 as 5, 6, because both are divided by 4. Now I'm going to look at the w's. the rule says if the w's are on top of each other, the same base, you subtract the exponents. So 3 minus 8 is negative 5. So that's not a bad answer, except remember you cannot have a negative exponent. So if you have a negative exponent, right here, it says you turn that negative exponent into a positive when you put it down inside the bottom of a fraction. So I say so your best answer is going to be to take w to the negative fifth and move it to the bottom with 6. So your best answer is going to be 5 all over 6w to the positive 5. And that's what that does. All right, that's it for 14. All right, so 15, a very similar concept, except you have 3 parts on top. So you have to split up the 3 parts and use 3 denominators. So you have 3 numerators. I'm going to actually turn into 3 different fractions I'm going to use write that denominator 3 times. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write the first one, 10x to the 4th, y squared, all over 2xy. Then I put minus because there's a minus sign right there. 4x cubed y all over 2xy. Then we put plus 8xy all over 2xy. Now I'm going to start just simplifying each little chunk. So there's basically 3 problems in here. So 10 over 2 is 5. I have x to the 4th over x to the 1st. That's going to become x cubed. Y squared over y is just y. 4 over 2 is just 2. X cubed over x is just going to be x squared. And these y's cancel. And the third part, 8 over 2, is 4. The x's cancel, the y's cancel. So that's your final answer for 15. Alright, so 16 is very exact same concept. So I'm going to take 35x6y cubed. So I'm going to write that 35x to the 6 y cubed. It's going to go over 7 x squared y. Put minus 28 8x cubed y squared all over 7 x squared y. Then I'm going to put plus 14x cubed y all over 7x squared y. So now, on the first chunk, 35 over 7 is just going to become 5. x6 over x2 is x to the 4th because it's subtract the exponents. Y cubed over y is y squared. Minus 20 over 7 is 4. X cubed over x is x. Y squared over y is y. Plus 14 over 7 is 2. X cubed over x is x. And the y's cancel. So that's your final answer for 16. Alright, 17, we have the square root of 160 plus the square root of 10. Now remember, I can only put radicals together if the numbers inside are exactly the same. But I'm going to use this list right here to see if I can find a perfect square that goes into it. So 160 is not perfect, but 16 goes into it 10 times. So remember, that's when we use the list, we find the biggest number. 160 would go right here, and I start finding the biggest number that goes into it, and 16 is. So the square root of 160, actually, this 16 turns into 4. 10 stays in jail forever. And then I'm adding it to radical 10. Now that the radicals are exactly the same, it's like I'm adding the numbers out front, so it's 4 plus 1. So it's turned into 5 radical 10. And that's it for 17. So 18 is the exact same concept. I can't do anything with these radicals unless they all match. So I look at 512, it's not on the list, but 256 goes into 512 2 times. So the square root of 256 is 16, so I have 16 radical 2. Now I have minus 18 is not perfect, but 9 goes into it 2 times. So the square root of 9 is 3. I do 3 times negative 6 to get minus 18 radical 2. And then I add my own single radical 2. That's like a 1 in front. So I have 16 minus 18 is negative 2 plus 1, so I'm going to get minus 1 radical 2. And that's it for 18.